this is a payback video. It's not going to put any money in your pocket, but it's going to make you feel a little bit better. Okay, so in the low-income housing business that my wife and I are well versed in, with several hundred units owned and managed up in a blue state, what ends up happening? You get a deadbeat tenant for whatever reason, right? I mean, there's just professional tenants out there, and by the way, most tenants are amazing and deserve respect and a good place to live. But I'm talking about that 1% that really just stiffs you over, whether it's back rent, damage, dragging you through eviction while not paying rent, and you got to pay a lawyer and they get a free one. And let's say a deadbeat tenant owes you $10,000. Let's just make up a number. Now, you got a couple choices. You can take them to court. That's a waste of time. Remember, our typical tenant, they work at Dunkin' Donuts or Burger King, and yeah, you could go to court and get a judgment, but a judgment isn't money. It just says, okay, you have the right to go try to collect it. Great. And you find out where they work. You go back to court, get a garnishment of their wages at Burger King, let's say, and what they're going to do on the $20 a week that you get from them, or $20 a month? You're not going to get anything. But even if you do, they're just going to quit their job. Now you got to start all over. It's a waste of time. Okay, it really is in terms of getting your money back. So you know what? Move on. Here's what I do. Years ago, and by the way, I should preface this by saying I'm not an accountant. Laws change every single year, so do your own freaking due diligence. But here's the move. Years ago, anyway. So they owe you 10 grand. So what you do is you put them into collections. You don't need to go to court to put somebody in collections, by the way. People always think I got to get it. No, you don't. Don't pay your credit card. See if you get put into collections. It hit your credit report. Of course it will, right? So you put them into collections. That's easy. So they owe you 10 grand. Now it's on collections. But listen, these guys don't care, right? They're professional tenants. They don't give a shit about their credit. So you're not going to get any money, right? So what you do, though, is then forgive the debt. Why would you do that? And they're walking away from it. Yeah, you're not going to get paid, but you forgive the debt. And the reason you want to do that is because now that's income. So you issue the tenant a 1099, right? So in the IRS's eyes, forgiven debt is income. So they just made $10,000, okay? So now, hopefully, now they got to deal with the IRS, okay? Good luck. You're out of it, but now you got to deal with the IRS because they just made $10,000. Plus, if they're on any kind of state or federal assistance, that extra income they made might put them over the edge. They lose it. So payback's a bitch and karma's a bitch. Play hardball. Welcome to the NFL, scumbag. Okay, hey, listen, guys. Bulletprooflease.com.
Does that work? Can somebody tell me down below? Does that work? Because that's very interesting. I would think plausible. Don't want to mess with the IRS when they throw that 10% fee on there all the time, and they come to get you. They play for keeps. Okay, but I don't know about issuing the 1099. I've never done it, never seen it done.